Well, hi, my name is Emily Wood, and my husband and I, Jeremy, have been coming to North County for 9 years now. We really enjoy being here. We have 2 rambunctious, beautiful boys that are wonderful. They are 8 and 5, and they're so much fun, and they're a blast, loud, everything you would think of with little boys, but they're very fun. And we always wanted to have 4 kids. That was always our dream, and 2 boys, 2 girls. That was always the dream. And so winter of 2022, found out we were pregnant, and then it was great. We were really excited, and then we did the blood test to find out if it was a girl or a boy. It was a girl, which made us so excited, and we had our girl name picked out. So it was going to be Bonnie Joy, after my grandma. We were really, really stoked to be able to have our baby girl. We were at our 20-week ultrasound, and they did the camera thing and did everything and looked at the baby, and I didn't see, usually you see a flickering heart when you see an ultrasound, and there was no flickering heart. And Jeremy didn't know what was wrong yet, and the ultrasound technician was like, okay, maybe we need to do something else. So she just did a bunch of other things, and she said, okay, I'm not seeing a heartbeat. Everything just crashed down. Like, I don't even know. I don't remember much of that. The rest of the appointment, I remember we had to wait for them to call our midwives to figure out what to do. I just was like, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here. And then as soon as we got into the car, it's like everything crashed down. And Jeremy and I were crying and like holding each other and just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening to us. And we decided to name her Bonnie Grace because we decided that we needed to have grace. And the nurse that was there when she delivered her, she was like, okay, I'm gonna wrap her in a blanket and you guys can hold her as long as you want. And as she was wrapping her in a blanket, she just was like, okay, little girl, like your mommy and daddy are ready to see you. And we're just like treating her like a human, which was so precious. And this was the blanket they wrapped her in. We got to like take pictures with her and hold her in and snuggle her. And then when we felt like we were ready, then the nurse took her and took some pictures, which were beautiful little pictures. And then she left. And then it felt so strange to leave the hospital, because usually when you leave the hospital, you have a baby with you. But I didn't get to have a baby with me when I left. And it felt like I was leaving a really big piece of my heart behind. So the next chunk of time was really hard. And I just really I'm not someone who likes to feel negative emotions. It's really hard for me to feel sad. But I knew, in talking to other people who had been through this, that the only way to get through this was to get through this. I couldn't ignore, I couldn't stuff down, because that would just make it worse. So I just let myself feel all the emotions I needed to feel. I was really angry at God. But something I learned is He can take it. He can take the anger and the why questions. He can handle it because He's a big God. And in my darkest depths, Jesus was there with me. And I was reading a devotional book for people who have had stillbirths and miscarriages. And it said that God knows what it's like to lose a kid, because He lost a kid. And I was like, okay, you know what this is like. And I was able just to sit with Him and sit with Jesus and be comforted in my darkest time. I think all of our faith has grown and our reliance on God has grown through this. And then a month later, we found out we were pregnant again, which was great and hard all at once, because it felt like whiplash. That's what I kept telling people, was because we were pregnant with Bonnie, we lost Bonnie, then we got pregnant we found out another girl, which we were also really excited about. We got our girl, and we didn't know what to name her. So we had our grief for missing our Bonnie, and then we had this excitement for having our baby girl. And I was reading a book, and it was talking about how evangelico, the Greek word, means good news. And I was like, oh, Evangeline. We need to name this baby Evangeline, because that means good news, and she's our good news. And then I wanted my middle name Joy, finally. So we have her Evangeline Joy. So that's what we called her. She was our good news of great joy. That's what we would always talk about. God really showed me that He is able to make good things happen from horrible situations. And it's through me working on my questions and going through my questions and sitting in His comfort and sitting in His grace that He was able to make, I guess, the whole story come around to now we have our 4 kids. We have our 2 boys and our 2 girls. One of them's just in heaven with Jesus. But the first time I was able to just sit and worship, I was sitting there listening, and I had an image in my head of Bonnie dancing with Jesus in a field. And it was beautiful, and it made me cry and laugh, and we were able to worship. And I talked to Jeremy later, and he had the same picture. It was crazy. It was so cool. He had the same picture that time. So it was really special that we were able to have that together, and that we still miss her. I miss Bonnie every day. It's still even hard. I love talking about her because I don't want her to be forgotten, but it's hard to talk about her too. And I love that Bonnie can be a piece of my story and can hopefully encourage others and can show God's comfort and grace in really hard times.